Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in this world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayers live page by page reading and commentary of the modern English version of the Bible. So today we're going to go back into the first book of Samuel, chapter 24, which goes over David sparing the life of Saul, which is interesting because really going back since the first book of Samuel, chapter 19, Saul has been stalking David. He has been trying to get all of his um, right hand men and servants and warriors and whatnot to kill David. But here's the thing, everybody likes David. He's the rock star of his time because he is the one who slayed the Philistine known as Goliath. Now, there's someone in my chat right now who I happen to know exactly who they are. I also know that they are, well, evil, a troublemaker. There's a reason why they stay behind an alt. And I sincerely do hope that they never bother me again. Being that this is my page by page reading and commentary of the Bible, I do ask that people who listen to me for the wrong reasons not bother me while I'm conducting my page by page reading and commentary of the Bible. Some of you out there wonder why you're going to receive visits from law enforcement. Some of you wonder why you're going to be documented on areas of the internet that you will never be able to scrub the information from. It's specifically because of not respecting boundaries. In life, you have to respect people's boundaries. If you are unable to do that, then you might as well question your existence. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And I hope all of you out there do have a wonderful Wednesday. I most definitely will. I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty strong. Today I'm going to be very productive, and I'll do the same thing tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this chapter. David spares Saul's life. When Saul had returned from following the Philistines, it was reported to him, saying, "Behold, David is in the wilderness of En-gedi." Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel and went to seek David and his men in front of the rocks of the wild goats. So he's still stalking David. And, this area of the first book of Samuel from about 19 up until now, 24, meaning chapters 24, if you've ever contended with a stalker, stalkers, meaning plural, or any group that, for whatever reason, unjustly doesn't like you and is after you, I highly recommend this area of the Bible. Because here's the thing, God will take care of you and make sure nothing will happen to you if you are being stalked unjustly. Jesus Christ was one of the first organized crime gang stalking victims, and it was documented. Why do you think the Bible is such a big thing? Still happens today, but I will tell you firsthand, as someone who has been victimized by several stalkers over the years, still am. They wonder why they can't hurt my life. It's because I believe in Jesus Christ and God. And I don't just believe in Jesus Christ and God. I'm one of those people on this planet who makes a point of introducing Jesus Christ and God to other people who might not know about Jesus Christ and God. Someone like me is always going to be stalked because I am the kind of person that I am. I will be stalked until the day I die. But Jesus Christ and God gave me one hell of a skill set to where when it comes to people messing with me, I fight back unlike many. That's why so many listen to these Bible readings for the wrong reasons. You're hoping to hear something that will, I don't know, provide some sort of a crack to where you can really get at me. Nah. Those of you who listen to me for the wrong reasons, every time you listen to me, especially on this channel, the power of Jesus Christ does what needs to be done to you. He came to the sheep pens by the way, and a cave was there, and Saul went in to relieve himself. Now David and his men were sitting in the rear of the cave. The men of David said to him, "This is the day of which the Lord said to you, 'Behold, I am giving your enemy into your hand. You may do with him as seems good in your eyes.'" Then David arose and secretly cut off the corner of Saul's robe. Afterward, David's heart troubled him because he had cut off a corner of Saul's robe. He said to his men, "The Lord forbid that I should do anything. I should do this thing to my Lord, the Lord's anointed, to stretch out my hand against him, for he is anointed of the Lord." So David dispersed his men by these words and did not let them rise against Saul. And Saul rose from the cave and went on his way. David arose afterwards and went out from the cave. And he called after Saul, saying, "My lord, the king." And when Saul looked behind him, David had bowed down with his face to the ground and paid homage. David said to Saul, "Why do you listen to the words of men, saying, 'Behold, David seeks your harm'? Behold, this day you have seen with your own eyes that the Lord delivered you today into my hand in the cave, so that some said to kill you, but my eye had compassion on you. And I said, I will not put forth my hand against my Lord, for he is anointed of the Lord. See, my father, look at the corner of your robe in my hand. Indeed, I cut off a corner of your robe, but I did not kill you." So that was the point of him cutting off the corner of the robe. Basically, David was saying to Saul, "Hey, look how close I can get to you. I could have done anything to you." And that's what stalkers need to keep in mind when it comes to whoever it is that they're stalking, especially when it's been for an extensive amount of time, because the one constant in the universe is change. Not time, but change. We measure change via time, but can you really even properly measure change? Not really. But those of you out there who think that you're clever, don't mess with the wrong people, especially if you're a parent with children. Don't, because people do change. And when you consistently come after somebody the way that Saul came after David, not only do you lose favor in the eyes of the Lord, God, Jesus Christ, but you weaken yourself. When you're persistent, when you keep coming at somebody, like for example, there's people who listen to me for the wrong reasons who think that if they just change their alt, I'm not going to know it's them. If you keep doing shit like that to people, eventually one of two things happens. The person that you're pursuing, that you're stalking, takes you out, or their maker, God, takes you out. Sometimes it's a combination of both. But that is what stupid criminals need to understand. There's a code amongst the most hardcore criminals, especially if they're born into criminal entities. One thing that they rarely do is go after targets who are staunch believers in Jesus Christ and God. Why? Well, because when you work outside of the law, you start to notice things. And it's just the balance of life. You notice something that many label as karma. The only way a person dies is if it's their time. The only way a person does much of anything is if it's their time. So to those of you out there listening to me for the wrong reasons right now, you need to be very careful. All right, so where are we right now? Here we are. Behold, this day you have seen with your own eyes that the Lord delivered you today into my hand in the cave. So that some said to kill you, but my eye had compassion on you. So in other words, like I was saying, David could have killed Saul if he wanted to. He didn't want to, for a lot of reasons. He wasn't that kind of a person. Also, he knew that God didn't want him to. But most importantly, for these particular times that this person is living in, David and Saul, really, when I think about it, David understood the power of public opinion. David already was a rock star amongst his people. Everybody liked him, whether they could openly say so or not. I can kind of relate to David in that capacity. And Saul, someone who was given everything, was so insecure, so piss poor in character, that he thought that by going after David or trying to kill David, somehow that would elevate him in the eyes of his people. Whereas in actuality, all it did was make his people look at him like he was a literal piece of excrement. Maybe that's why they talk about going into the cave to relieve themselves in this particular chapter of the Bible. Maybe it's because it's a little bit of a reminder as to how Saul will always be remembered in the Bible. And those of you out there who do listen to me for the wrong reasons, you need to think to yourself, how do I really want to be remembered? Because the majority of you who listen to me for the wrong reasons, you have children. Your biggest fear when it's come to me is, oh my God, is my family and my kids going to find out what a piece of garbage I am? Yeah, they are. So maybe you should stop. But of course you can't. So they're just going to find out. And I said, I will not put forth my hand against the Lord, for he is anointed of the Lord. See, my father, look at the corner of your robe in my hand. Indeed, I cut off the corner of your robe, but I did not kill you. Observe and see that there is no evil or rebellion in my mind. I have not sinned against you, but you are lying in wait for my life to take it. The Lord will judge between me and you, and the Lord will avenge me on you, but my hand will not be against you. As the proverb of the ancient says, from the wicked comes forth wickedness, but my hand will not be against you. So David told him off. David was the superior person in this particular situation. And that's another thing when you're a believer in Jesus Christ and God. A lot of times you don't have to fight. The powers that be make sure everything is right for you. When David finished speaking these words, I missed a paragraph. After whom has the king of Israel come out? After whom are you pursuing? After a dead dog, a single flea? May the Lord be judge and decide between me and you. And may he see and plead my case and deliver me out of your hand. Mm. When David finished speaking these words to Saul, Saul said, is this your voice, my son David? Oh, why is he calling him his son if he wants to kill him? Even his own actual biological son, Jonathan, as we learned in previous chapters, doesn't want to deal with Saul, his own dad, because Saul is that pathetic. You are more righteous than I, for you have rewarded me with good while I have rewarded you with evil. And you have shown today that you have dealt well with me, when the Lord delivered me into your hand and you did not kill me. For if a man finds his enemy, will he let him safely go away? Therefore, may the Lord reward you well for what you have done for me this day. Now behold, I know you will surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel will be established in your hand. And those were the words of Saul, because he realized he was an asshole. Therefore swear to me now by the Lord that you will not cut off my descendants after me, and that you will not destroy my name out of my father's household. So David swore to Saul, and Saul went home. But David and his men went up to the stronghold. So that's the end of this chapter. This was a good chapter. I'm enjoying this area of the Bible a lot. Saul made some bad choices, as do many people on this planet. It wasn't enough for Saul to be king. He had to go after who he viewed as his competitor, even though his competitor didn't view Saul as his competitor. David comes across as being a pretty happy, good-natured person with a tremendous amount of faith. But it is the happy, good-natured people with a tremendous amount of faith who do have the most difficult time in this world. But thank you for listening today. Again, I do ask that those of you who listen to me for the wrong reasons, shut the fuck up and don't ever chat in my chat again when I am doing my Bible readings. Because I do happen to know all my stalkers' names, locations, everything. And I'm a pretty good person, but I'm also somebody who believes in justice. So be careful. I do ask that people who are aware of me on other projects, unless you are someone that I speak to personally, do not come into this chat. I consider this project my personal church. Just like you wouldn't go into a church acting a fool or shooting it up, you don't do that mess when it comes to my Bible readings, unless you want to deal with the consequences. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.